Now, I want you to think back 5 years of what type of cars Hyundai used to make, and then you look at what type of cars they're making today. They are absolutely crushing it. I've said it so many times before, but if I were to actually apply for a job as a designer right now, I would probably jump on a flight to South Korea and work for either Kia or Hyundai, because I think they are having so much fun in their design departments today. This one being the brand new 2026 Ioniq 9, the flagship EV built on the same platform as the Kia EV9. However, I think this one is the coolest design of the two, even though the EV9 looks pretty cool as well. This one with this pixelated styling that is across the entire design of this. You can see just how many pixels we have in the front end. Even the headlight unit full of pixels, and also the taillight looks like a Volvo. It looks like a modernized Volvo V70 or XC60. Love it from a 3/4 rear view. We're going to have a look at this from front, side, and rear, and also the interior, of course, before we're going to take this for a drive. The 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 9 Performance Calligraphy, like we have right here in Cosmic Blue, is powered by dual motor. You got all-wheel drive, of course, 110.3 kilowatt-hour battery packed, 422 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. It's connected to a 1-speed automatic. 0 to 60 takes about 4.5 seconds, and keep in mind that this weighs 6,000 pounds, so it's a pretty quick vehicle for the weight. 350 kilowatt DC fast charging is available. Fuel economy or range is 85 mpge, giving it about a 335 mile range, and the price for this, as tested, comes out to $77,040. Now, of course, as always, we're going to start with this front end design of the Ioniq 9. And what a design this is. Everything is flush. This does not have this automotive feel that I want to see in car designs. But to me, honestly, in this case, it really doesn't matter, because the continuity of the philosophy just flows really well across this overall design. The proportions look great as well. It doesn't really look like an EV. Everything in the front, of course, here is being covered up. We have the big these small little cube LEDs in the front, and the indicators, as you can see, LEDs as well. We don't have the headlight unit sitting up here. This has this proper bumper headlight integration with this small cube LEDs right here. Super small LEDs, and I'm very surprised to see, same thing when I saw the Genesis G90, that we can actually have this small of LEDs be the full headlight unit for a car today in this size. We have more pixels right here. And I don't want to think about if you happen to go get into an accident, small little bumper, crash, and how much this front end, this entire panel with the radar, the front-mounted camera right here, how much this would cost to replace. I would assume it is probably very, very expensive. Now, looking at this vehicle from a straight front view like you're doing right now, I wouldn't say that this has a clear personality to it. The only thing that Hyundai is doing really well is the proportions look pretty generic to me. They look good, but they don't stand out too much. But what they're crushing with right now is the key graphic design, and that is what's going on here with the pixelations that we have. The only intake we have in the front end is going to be all the way down here, and these are actually active shutters, so when the vehicle needs more cooling, these are going to open up. And this is almost like a glass panel or plexiglass panel right here. You have the parking sensors integrated in the lower section, and we talked about the radar right there as well. Pretty clean design. There's not a lot going on, except of course for all the, I don't know how many pixels we have in the front end of the Ioniq 9. Now, I just want to come up close and personal with this headlight unit, because I think this is one of the most unique headlights in the automotive business industry today. You can see the array of pixels that we have for the main headlight unit, and then we have the daytime run lights being even more pixels here. And this is something that is very, very hard to imagine a designer actually sketching all of these small cubes up by hand. This definitely looks like a computer design overall to me, the Ioniq 9. Now, coming around to the side view, and this is what I'm talking about. The proportions for this look very, very clean in my opinion. It does not look like an EV with the bubbling, with the A pillar going all the way into the front end hood. Here we have clean proportions, and the thing about EVs, the best thing about EVs, I would say, is the amount of interior space that you get. This, when we jump into the interior, I'm going to show you just how much space you have in this 3-row setup that we have right here. But I do like the styling. We have a nice muscle going over the rear axle right here, dipping down, creating a key line right here in the passenger door. We have a pretty solid piece down here, and this is of course where the battery sits in the lower section of the vehicle. And these door handles sits flush with the bodywork. When the car is locked, it's unlocked right now, so they pop out. You also have some ambient lighting in the door handles itself. It says Ioniq 9 right here. It feels like it's, you know, as I said, if you go back 10 years, what type of cars Hyundai used to do, I think Hyundai and Kia are the two brands that have really stepped it up when it comes to quality and overall perception you have of the brands. They really stepped it up with this Ioniq 9. I think this is a great vehicle overall, and the proportions, as I said, look beautiful, specifically from a side view. We have this key graphic right here going around the greenhouse, creating this massive silver piece, also silver roof rails up top, and looking beautiful. Now, this being an EV doesn't mean today, like it used to do when the Prius first came out, that we need to have bicycle tires for the size of wheels. In this case, we have pretty fat wheels all around, 285mm wide tires and 21-inch wheels. They don't look like 21s to me because of the size of this vehicle, but the design of the wheels themselves look pretty solid. Thankfully, they're not all completely blacked out. As you can see, we do have some silver in here, and they look decent to me. Probably, myself, I would probably switch those out because they still look a little too flat for me, but that is what you get with EVs today. Now, this being the top of the line, the calligraphy trim, meaning that these panels right here, this section is a separate trim piece. Now, this in lower trims is black, and I think it looks so much better having this in this blue body color that we have right here. Now, as you can see, the rear end is starting to look very much Volvo-like, and I can't wait to show you the details of the rear because we have a lot more pixels going on in the rear, similar to what we have, of course, in the front end design. Now, here we have it, the money shot for the Ioniq 9. I think this is such a cool design, and if this does not scream Volvo to you, I don't know what you're seeing, but to me, this looks like a Volvo maybe 20 years in the future, an XC60 or something like that, with the big LEDs that we have, everything being pixelated. I do like the array of indicators that we have here, and also how this brake light goes all the way across the entire top end of the vehicle, creating a nice, beautiful framing for this design. And I love that Hyundai decided to extend the roof line a little bit. That means that we can hide the wiper underneath here, so we don't have it right here and messing up the otherwise very, very clean design that we have in the rear. Now, looking at this vehicle from more of a straight rear view, as looking at from right now, I do think it has these pretty planted looking proportions to it. And the reason being is this line right here, how this sticks out and creates this muscle over the rear axle. This is what plants the car properly on the ground. We also have a nice separation of the top half and then a solid bumper in the lower section, something that is also going away today. In the front end, you can see it clearly there. It's all smooth. We don't have any sort of bumper separation of the key graphics, but in the back, proper bumper down here. We have this gunmetal finish in the lower section. More pixels, of course, coming back here. Parking sensors integrated here as well, and Ioniq 9 spelled out all across the rear end, looking beautiful. Now, this is a pretty massive vehicle, and you also have a ton of space in the back. You have 3 rows in this layout. Of course, you can fold down the 3rd row, you can fold down the 2nd row if you need even more space than that. You have plenty of connectivity back here as well, and you have these buttons to automatically fold down the 2nd and 3rd row. This is also something, the money you pay for German rivals today in this $80,000 range, you're not gonna get the amount of features that you get with Kia and Hyundai today at the same price range. You have the automatic folding for the seats. You also have a 12-volt house outlet right there, LEDs, and a 12-volt cigarette outlet here as well. Underneath this area, you have a little bit more storage, but this is usually where you have your charging cable tucked in and stored underneath this floor right there. And that is pretty much it for the rear end trunk space for the Ioniq 9. Thankfully, this being such a boxed off design, you do have plenty of space back here. If you want more space, again, just fold down the seats. If you want more passengers, you can still have the 3rd row intact. Now, stepping into the brand new 2026 Ioniq 9, and it is like stepping into the future. We do have dual 12.3-inch setup, as you can see. standard setup for most vehicle manufacturers today. I would say unfortunately, because it looks pretty basic, the layout. Not a very beautiful integration, but it is curved. You have two screens right there, one for the gauge cluster and the other one, of course, for the infotainment screen right there. The nice thing about this interior is the spec. I do like the blue exterior with this light interior. It creates even more roomy feel. You still have a lot of room in here, but having it be bright like this just adds to that feeling. Now looking at the door panel, a lot of ambient lighting going on right here in the lower section. Can't really see it right now on the inside of the handle itself. High quality feel for the buttons and the door handle itself. Interesting to see that this is actually round. I would assume it to be almost like a pixel or a square, another pixel here, but they decided to go with at least some round features in this design. You have the Bose sound system integrated right there in the lower section, and a cup holder there and some storage. Obviously electronically controlled seats for both the front and the passenger and the driver right there. Ioniq 9 as you're stepping in the vehicle. I mean, overall it just feels pretty high quality, this design. So let's step in here and check out all the details for this brand new 2026 Ioniq 9. Now going in here, of course, completely quiet. The car is actually on right now, even though you can't hear anything. However, you can't go in and change the motor noise or the noise of the vehicle. You just go in here into sound, and then you go into active sound design. And here, I don't know if you can hear it, but it has this humming noise to it. I'm not sure if I like it. I like to turn it off. You can have it in small, moderate, or large. The volume of the sound itself. You have a wireless Apple CarPlay. If you want to connect that, you can do that. You also have the native map right here, which works pretty well and very easy to navigate with this map itself, straight from Hyundai. You have the media here, the map EV. We can go into this and check out a bunch of different settings or stats for your battery and so on. So you have a bunch of different settings in here that you can set up. Probably set it up one time and not really use it again, but it's nice to see. And the layout, the graphics have this cartoonish feel to it, this vectorized graphics. I do like to see that. It just adds a little bit more of interesting feel to the software itself. I like this shelf that we have and the overall design, the overall materials. Even though this is hard plastic, as you can hear, it's not really, it doesn't feel high quality, but when you're looking at it from a distance, it looks very, very nice. This up top is, of course, soft touch material. You do have a head-up display right in front of you, and these vents beautifully integrated in this two parallel lines right here. Very easy to adjust as well. And thankfully, in this case, we still have this control panel for everything related to the climate. Heated and ventilated seats in 3 different settings. Beautiful to see. Heated steering wheel, two levels as well, and you have the fan speed right there, and of course the dial for the temp controls located right here. Beautiful. Love to see it still being intact, and that Hyundai is bringing this back into the vehicle. Hazard button right there. All the way down here we have 3 USB-Cs. Nice to see. We have a 12-volt cigarette outlet right there. Some storage underneath it, and even more storage all the way down low. This is a fingerprint reader, which is available for the calligraphy trim. So you just have to press your finger right there, and it's gonna set up the vehicle to what specs you have it and what settings you have. Now this entire center console, you can actually slide this back and forth all the way, like a huge amount. It's very cool to see. So if you want more space here in the middle, you can have that. Or if you want more armrest, if you have it fully extended like this, you get more arm space to rest your arms. This is how I personally like to have it, just fully extended. And here you can see the drive mode selector right here. We have 4 different drive modes. We have My Drive, Sport, Normal, and Eco. And if you go on Terrain, not sure who would go in Terrain with this, but you have sand, mud, and snow if you want to change that up. You have Sport. Let's keep it in Sport for now. And when you put it in Sport, the very cool thing, you can feel the seat, the driver's seat, sinking down a little bit and hugging you more with the lumbar support when you put it in Sport. It sort of tenses up and makes sure you're going to be held in place as you go on those sporty drives, I would assume, with the Ioniq 9. Not sure how sporty it is, but you have that setting here. Opening this up, you do have a storage compartment underneath here with a small little LED, and not the deepest storage, but it's totally fine for this type of vehicle. Now looking at the seats themselves, you can move the seat back and forward by using this button right here. It's great to see that. So if you're in the passenger seat in the second row and you want to move this forward a little bit, I don't think you're going to need it because you have a ton of space back there. You can also fold out this section to create even more leg support if you want to do that. Now you also have a USB-C right here on the seat itself. The seat design looking beautiful. I do like the two-tone, heated, ventilated, proper bolstering support as well. Now moving on to the gauge cluster, it is configurable in a way. You can configure the center portion of the screen to show you whatever you want here in the middle. As you can see, you have the range on the right side, 271 miles of range now at 81%. One thing that I would always want to have this configured to do is when you start this up, it always starts at level 3 regen braking. I want to have it in the top level as soon as I start it up. I don't want to have to adjust it every time I fire it up, but you can adjust that here with these paddles. You can see it changes from level 2 to level 3 to max right there. You see that right here in the icon at the lower section. Or if you want to have less regen braking, not sure why you would want to have that, but you can have that set to 0 if you want that. I think the steering wheel looking beautiful. We have these pixels again coming back in the center portion of the steering wheel, and we have these buttons right here for the voice command and also the volume knob, and you have the cruise control settings and the controls for the gauge cluster right here on the left side, indicator stock on the left side as well as the washer on the right side right there. Now look at this massive stock in the bottom right here. This is a start and stop button for the vehicle right there, and if you want to put it into park, you just press this button right there. And if you want to go into drive, you toggle this up. Now we're in drive. Putting it into reverse to check out the cameras, just toggle it down, just twist this down like that. And here you can see the camera settings. Beautiful cameras from Hyundai. You can see exactly where the car is positioned. You can even tilt it up and down like this. This is probably one of the best camera systems in the business right now. I love what Hyundai is doing with the camera. Trajectory lines, of course, and the resolution looks beautiful as well. So great job by Hyundai when it comes to the camera settings. And these, for some reason, when you're in reverse, these go red, the pixels in the steering wheel itself. Looking up top, you have a full panoramic sunroof, obviously. You would assume to have that for $81,000 in a brand new EV. Sort of a trend that goes on right now to have this full roof. You can also cover it up if you want to, just slide this, but I'm gonna keep it open for now. So I think we talked about everything in the front end design. Interior, we also have this camera here. I forgot to mention you can have it regular mirror or camera just like that. So let's step into the back seat or the second row, and let's see. I'm going to show you just how much space you have back here. It's incredible how much space you have. You have this shade for the window. If you want to put that up, you can do that. 2 cup holders, 3 cup holders with a cup holder down there. You also have Ioniq 9 here again for the second row. Stuff like that, small details, doesn't probably matter to a lot of people, but to me, it just makes it feel like they put in an effort to make this feel high quality, this vehicle. So let's jump in here and check out this space that we have. Massive leg room. I'm 6'1", 6'2". This is in fact my driving position. Headroom, no problems whatsoever. And look at this, the amount of features you get from Hyundai and Kia these days. It's just amazing. You have heated seats. You also have ventilated seats for the second row. AC controls here for the back as well. I mean, the level of feature is pretty incredible right now with the South Korean brands. You can also open up the glove box, or I mean the armrest from this side, so the passengers also have access to whatever is inside here. You have more storage here at the bottom. You can slide this out. You can see beautiful. Let's move this out of the way so we can actually close this back down. And you don't have a transmission tunnel, meaning that this floor is completely flat. Looking at the back seat, the third row right there, I don't think I'm gonna fit there specifically. It's gonna be very, very tight, but if you have kids up to, I would say, maybe 10, 11 years old, they will probably fit perfectly fine back there as well. Now with that said, we talked about the exterior design, the interior. Now it's time to take this Ioniq 9 for a drive, and let's see what this is all about out on the roads. All right guys, you know the drill. Let's take the 2026 Ioniq 9 for a drive. Let's see what drive mode we are in right now. Let's put it in Eco for now as we go out of this Red Rocks parking lot right here. So you got 422 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque from these dual motors that we have on each axle, meaning that you do of course have all-wheel drive. I wouldn't expect anything else in this price range for $77,000. 0 to 60 in about 4.5 seconds. Not bad, because this thing weighs 6,000 pounds. It's a heavy sumo wrestler, this vehicle, but it doesn't really feel heavy on the road. It feels pretty smooth, extremely comfortable going over these roads, and the range is about 335 miles of range, which I don't think is too bad. The range is decent. It's up there in the highest range EVs today. We do have, every time new EVs come out, they have very optimistic numbers for their vehicles. And 335 miles in the real world, it seems like it could actually go that range in this case. But now since I turned off and turned on the vehicle back on, we're now back at level 3 regen braking. So I'm gonna just tap the left side paddle and go into full max regen braking, because to me it just makes sense. I mean, what is the point of not having it? If you're gonna have it in 3, you might as well have it in 4. And what 4 means, it is going to give you a one pedal driving. It's going to come to a complete stop when you actually have it on a level 4. Now, I really like what Hyundai is doing overall. I think they have, 5 or 10 years ago, they just said in a board meeting or something like that, we need to do something to stand out from the rest of the competition. Let's bring in the chief exterior designer or whatever, and let's talk to him and let's get his ideas. And he just came out with this. Let's just make a bunch of pixelated vehicles. Let's do that and let's see what happens. And that is, I think, what they did, because now we have the Envision 74 going into production as well, and that is one sick looking vehicle. I cannot wait to see what the production model is going to look like of that one. Hopefully they don't change much. It looks like an old 70s car, almost like a I don't know, almost like a modernized DeLorean to me. It looks very, very cool. And I'm not sure if they're gonna keep the hybrid setup for that one, but it's, regardless, it's gonna be one of the coolest production vehicles when it comes to sheer design, exterior design for that vehicle. Now, Hyundai, Volkswagen, Ferrari as well, they are all going back to physical knobs and buttons for the interior, because they did something that I feel not a lot of car companies are doing today. They actually listened to what their customers want. Ferrari's clients, they said, we are sick of these haptic buttons that we had on the steering wheel. Can you please bring back the regular buttons? And Ferrari listened. So that is exactly what they're doing. And you can see it right here. We still have the beautiful layout for the climate settings. I just love to see this. It's so refreshing to see this for a 2026 model year, that this type of styling is coming back. So let's put it in sport now. And again, the seat sinks down a little bit. The bolstering on the side support is firming up. You can feel the seat just moving and kind of hugs you when you put it into sport. It's pretty interesting to see. 0 to 60 as I said, 4.5 seconds. Not bad. I mean, imagine moving 6,000 pounds in that type of time, 0 to 60. Not bad. And it goes pretty fast as well. It's not the quickest EV out there. Doesn't have 2,500 horsepower, but I mean, come on. Horsepower race is getting a little ridiculous right now when it comes to EVs, in my opinion. And this is what I'm talking about. Going around these corners, 6,000 pounds, it really does not feel like it weighs this much. And I do think a lot of that has to do with the center of gravity, with the battery pack sitting so down low. I mean, that's for every EV. That's why EVs are still heavy. They might be heavy, but on the roads, they don't necessarily feel that heavy. And I do think that is the case with the Ioniq 9 as well. It's pretty fun to drive on roads like this, to be honest. Let's floor it here one more time. Oh yeah. EVs, instant torque. The thing here though is, like I always say when I drive EVs, except for the BMW i4 M50, they all feel the same. And this one still, it's very hard to create a personality when you have electric motors, because how do you tweak an electric motor to have a personality? You can't really do that like you can with inline 4s. Inline 6, if you have a V8, completely different personality from a V12 and so on. And that is a big challenge for companies these days, specifically enthusiast companies and sports cars. to make them feel unique when you're driving. And even though they're still very fun to drive, yes, they're very quick, and you have this instant speed as soon as you step on the accelerator. So overall, I mean, this Ioniq 9 to me, the exterior design from a 3/4 rear view, I like it. I like the extreme boxiness that Hyundai went with, to have almost a 90-degree corner up top in the rear end to create this old school Volvo vibes. I love to see it. And of course, the pixelated design. I think it's a good idea from Hyundai to have those type of stylings here for the exterior. And also you can see the pixels here, for example, for the charging pad. There are pixels everywhere in this vehicle, in the door panel as well, a little bit. Very cool design, and it feels great to drive, and the range is decent, 335 miles. The pricing, you can go with the base, more base specs, this being the top of the range, close to $80,000 for a Hyundai. Starting to feel a little painful maybe, but comparing this to the Kia EV9, for example, I think I am on team Hyundai when it comes to the Ioniq 9 versus the EV9. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.